Hi, this video is not sponsored. I'm not going to tell you where to go to do this. I'm going to tell you to do something that's DIY and probably works. It's called aluminum foil. Any aluminum foil. My favorite one is HVAC. Basically, it's duct tape that's made out of aluminum instead, and you stick it to something, and that'll act as the cover. Okay, so here's how we do this. If you're not aware of it, contactless payment or RFID or whatever you want to call it, near field method, blah, 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 methods are available for credit cards so that you can reduce the wear and tear on the card. That's what it's for. It makes it to where it's more reliable. And it requires that you get the card within a couple of inches of the reader. A lot of you know about that. However, a lot of you are also aware of the fact that every once in a while you hear about somebody finding out that their card has been used against their will for some cheap purchase, usually, sometimes larger. And it gets caught by the bank, and I sometimes wonder if it's the bank lying about it so they can try to sell you protection. But if it does happen that you believe, or if it's been stated that it happened by going through the RFID thing, the bank system is made to where it shouldn't work, but it does. This is something that recently has come up in the world around me. Don't ask why. So this is a shiny piece of cardboard. I specifically removed the back of it to make it thinner. This is from a cocoa container. That's the end of the video. You can get conductive sticky tape. That's the aluminum tape for doing ducting. It's actually aluminum metal. Sometimes it has a fabric with it, but that's not required. And you just put it onto a credit card sized card and put it in with the other cards on both sides. If you have a wall that folds open, put it on both. If you don't want to do that, you can take the tape and put it onto another piece of tape that's durable. I would recommend that. And then put it in your wallet and then put another piece of tape on the back of it. It can be packaging tape, fibrous or non-fibrous, plastic, clear. It can be ordinary duct tape. Doesn't matter. And you put it in where the billfold has the bills, and you just put it in with the bills, and when you fold it shut, it acts as a partial shield. There's a lot of debate on this subject, and you'll see people talking about it being a scam. Don't pay for one. Now, understand that if you can get the sort function to work on Amazon, which I will include a link to that, it'll show you the cheapest RFID block wallet, and that's it. That's all you need to type in. Unfortunately, Amazon, like many websites, will try to upsell you on something that you don't need. There's one person selling just it's called an aluminum dollar bill or aluminum money. It's an aluminum sheet that's the same size as money that you put on the closest side to the cards when you fold your wallet shut. Now, the other thing you'll see people, and literally that's it. It's just a piece of conductive electrical tape. It's a conductive tape strip, aluminum, that's stuck to something plastic that's folded that way. And if you want to know, yes, it's best if it folds to where the aluminum is on the outside of the bend and on the inside of the wallet when it closes up. And I'm not going to demonstrate it. Just you can make one. Just make sure you coat both sides, because not if the aluminum starts flaking off, it'll come off. You might want to have just two fake credit cards made out of aluminum stuck in. That'll work well enough. Now, some people will call it a scam or whatever if you buy them. And again, on Amazon, if you want to spend money on it, you can get these little cards and also the little strips of basically aluminized plastic or paper for like 20 of them for $5. They're made cheaply because it is cheap. It's just a conductive sheet of material on a durable material so it doesn't wear out. And the least troublesome one is where it's basically an aluminum credit card. Now, you'll see people saying, well, you have to do this, that, and the other thing, and it has to be a Faraday cage. This is also the complaint people will make when they're trying to sell you something like an RFID cage to put over your smart meter. Just get a bug screen from the store, an aluminum or other metal insect screen, and just form it over it so it doesn't have any RF communications going in and out. But it's not perfect. No, and neither are the others. They drop the intensity by a certain dB. One of the examinations was just doing this. I already looked up somebody else doing it. In fact, they actually showed one of these. I mean, I cut this out roughly. I can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these from a cocoa canister that's about that tall and round. It drops the range that you can detect a signal at. If you can detect a signal at, let's say, 18 inches, it drops it down to 1, maybe 2 inches. That's good enough. If you're worried about somebody getting within X number of feet of you and picking up your card details, and again, your bank will or will not limit it to a certain dollar amount that day. Reducing it at all is an improvement. And then when you see people saying, well, it's too cheap to work, don't spend money on it. The other one is, if you want to disable its ability to be a near field or RFID type credit card, that means you have to partially damage the card. I did a video a long time ago doing this to my passport, to where it would not communicate my details. There's a very good set of reasons for it, but the other one is, if someone says, well, and then they presume it's illegal. No, it's not illegal to alter, quote unquote, alter your credit card to where it doesn't give out your information at a distance of, 5 feet away. It's also not against the law to alter your passport. Yes, I said it so that it can't be read at a distance. You can just RF shield it. In fact, a lot of passports, some countries put these out, they have shields in the outer layer to where you have to open them up to scan them. That's why. But that kind of indicates that it's a different thing going on, and I don't know how that works. I can guess, but it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it's actually a sheet right in the middle, and then when you open it up, it's just away from that sheet. But the point is, I went ahead, because it's my passport, I just broke the little loop antenna that it has. Now, when people think antenna, they think a couple of wires going 2 different directions. On these, they rely on that antenna to get power, to power the thing to respond. So it has to be a coil or a loop. It has to be a long string of loops, or just one loop, at least. And breaking it means it just doesn't have the ability to work. If you're really paranoid, find the chip itself, and usually to the left or the right is where the contacts are, and you go upper and lower quadrants and punch 2 holes in it. But that means the card is altered, and it will be rejected when you have to go to the bank to do a withdrawal. Now, the only way I know of to do this safely, I'm going to go into altering the card here for a minute, but warning, doing this will infuriate your bank. It will. It'll be to them a broken card. In fact, depending on how sophisticated it is, if you do that, it'll register as a broken card and stop working. Okay? So, get a second credit card or debit card through the bank for another account, if you're one of those rich people who are willing to do this, and deliberately you're going to damage the card safely. Now, this is how you do it. Let's say you have a credit card for an account, and it's a couple of years old and it's kind of getting worn. Order a new one, so when it shows up, it'll disable the old one. Now you can take the other one and futz with it, and you can modify it and see if it can be read by a near field circuit on like a cell phone, like an Arduino or whatever the heck, or not Arduino, like whatever piece of equipment you can find. Let it try to run and say invalid. See if it detects it after you alter it. But you can use that older card, hopefully it's not very different from the new card, to figure out where you would, if you were to modify it, where to modify it. But the thing is, here's the actual procedure for modifying your credit card. You can't just look up a tutorial. You have to take a donor card that's dead. I mean, I did it with one I found on the street that happened to be a card like mine that had been damaged. You sand off all of the paint and artwork off of one side of it and then the other, so it's as clean as possible. Just don't damage the chip if you want to retain it. And you see, by looking through it with a light source, properly masked off, where the wires come to the chip. Looking at the edge won't do you any good because it'll be too bright there and you won't be able to find the wires. And if that doesn't work, then you have to scrape it away until you find out exactly where they go. And it's literally a wire in many cases. It's done as a pattern, pressed in with a little bit of glue, and then the chip is put onto it and spot welded to the pins, and then it's glued shut, and that's how they make the dang cards. Unless you have a hacker on the internet that does this literally with a bank card that's the same as you're using every 6 months so it's up to date, you don't know where to punch a hole or use a soldering iron to heat it up or cut it, or where to break it at all. Now you'll see people talking about, well, put it in a microwave. Well, that means that it can't work as a chip reader type either. You want to retain the chip reading function. because what you're trying to prevent is for it being read through your wallet's body or from like 3 feet away. Now, again, as I was saying, the little aluminum on the cardboard thing works fine. Is it perfect? No. Is it as good as some other method? Yeah, I don't think so. You can always find a better method. But again, are you sitting at home and happen to have a cocoa container and think, I can do that? Now, when you do this, just measure your credit card and then just cut out the card piece that's that size. Do that first. Do it up near the edge of it. And then do another one that's the same size as a dollar bill that you could fold up, and then split the cardboard down the middle and see if you can get one layer. And the next thing is you can just take a 2-inch wide strip of, let's say, packaging tape, lay it down to where it's shiny, sticky side up, put down a piece of aluminum foil over the whole thing, just over it, rub it in, and then, get rid of the excess that isn't stuck to the tape, and then cut the tape to where that it doesn't have any sticky surface available, and stick it in with your money, and it'll also block it. Do both. Put 2 fake aluminized cardboard cards on each side, and then 1 bill, and it should be shielded just fine. Is this really necessary? Every time I hear of a bank saying, oh, you don't need to do that, we do good security, I just look up the latest occurrence of it happening. Shield your freaking wallet with literally anything. It doesn't even matter. Even literally, metalized bug screen might work. And when you see people saying it's a scam, don't buy these things, I agree, don't buy them, make them. Now, dead last, can you buy a wallet that does this? Yeah, you can buy one where inside of the way the wallet is built, it has a conductive surface that's completely surrounded by plastic, so no matter how many times you bend it, it won't wear out or damage it, and it won't get aluminum everywhere. And if it does break, it'll break right in the middle, which will still work at all or very well. And the next thing is, every video I've seen, unless somebody's selling you a product, which is too many of them, that actually tests whether or not the damn things work, they show that no matter what, if you just buy any RFID blocking device of any kind, almost all of them work. Very few of them fail at all. And you can test them pretty easily. Get the wallet, just put in your card you're going to use. Put the other wallet stuff in the other pocket. Keep it on your person. Don't leave it in your car. Please don't leave your cards in your goddamn car. I don't care how convenient or inconvenient you're being. Just shut up. And then go up and see if you can do contactless through the wallet. Well, that's weird. And then hopefully it will fail, and you take out the card and beep, it works fine, and there you go. Do a contactless test. That proves that it does block and it does work. Is that perfect? No. Is it the $100 whiz-bang wallet or the card case or Ridge wallet? No, it isn't. Is it working? Yeah. Did it cost you a lot? No. These are like $5 wallets. You can find them at Walmart. It does not matter. But again, you can just make one of these. And if at all possible, don't use actual aluminum foil because it kind of, turns into dust and gets everywhere, and it will actually fuck up the card's chip eventually. Lastly, you can also just ask your bank, I want one without the ability to be scanned at a distance. I don't want contactless. Just say I want a card that doesn't have this. I'm ordering one. And pro tip, don't do this over the phone. Just walk into the bank and say so. If you have very few branches, go to one anyway. And they're like, well, you can do this over the internet. And I'm like, yeah. And then you guys try to upsell me or downsell me or do something else. It's like, no, I'm literally talking to you about security here. I need it to where it doesn't do that. And then don't respond. Just like, yeah, we're starting to arrange this. Yes. Okay. And basically, if it happens from a bank branch, they will actually send you a card that doesn't have this ability. Because again, the ideal here is to make it to where there isn't anything to scan. So short of cutting, damaging, altering, maybe getting in trouble for it, or shielding, just get a card that doesn't have this feature that isn't really useful to you. On the other hand, if you use contactless all the time, I highly recommend you make sure you have a wallet that shields it, either because you've made the wallet do it or because it came that way. Because I really don't think this is safe. Anyway, again, I just made mine. It's a cocoa container. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Bye.